I wish I'd say something though.
And the Chicago Dogs. We're in a league of our own. Now, here's your SportstownChicago.com.
Young with your SportstownChicago.com update, powered by Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to BeyondTheAir.com. Dennis Allen talked today and voiced to be an attacking, aggressive defense. Wants to put opposing offenses on their heels, make them feel uncomfortable. Seems he and head coach Ben Johnson have a few things in common, as Ben Johnson is in his introduction press conference stated he wants the Bears players to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Kristaps Porzingis finished with 34 points, carrying the Celtics to a 122-100 victory in Boston last night. Porzingis did most of his damage in the first half, scoring 26 points. The Bulls tried to battle back, but couldn't overcome a 41-28 second quarter. The Bulls had 15 turnovers that Boston turned into 27 points. Boston only committed 9 turnovers that the Bulls turned into 3 points. Victor Wembanyama, Spurs big man, is frustrated with the calls he hasn't been getting and feels it's unfair and is speaking out. It's not even about Zubac, Wemby said. It's said after things got chippy in the third between the two. It's frustration no matter who it is. Asked if he gets a fair whistle from officials, Wemby curtly said no. Connor Bedard's spectacular goal sparks the Blackhawks to a 4-1 victory Tuesday. Bedard scored from a seemingly impossible angle. This has been your SportstownChicago.com update, brought to you by Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to BeyondTheAir.com.
Full Court Press with your host, Jonathan Young. Charlie Carty. We keep the pressure on people in the world of sports all day, every day.
How you doing, folks? It's your host, Charlie Carty, with Full Court.
Their three-point shooting, as you mentioned, a lot of times, we have him up in coverage, so there are shots going up, there's rolls, and a lot of times he's trying to get back in. I think one of the things that happened, too, that led to threes was ball containment. And obviously, when you're the back line of defense like he is, sometimes the rotation piece, where he's out of position, because he's having to help. So there was a combination of things. Certainly, I think collectively as a team, we needed to do a much better job blocking out, than we did. But the threes for them, I think, came on like a lot of penetration kind of plays, and we were in rotations, and sometimes when you're in rotation, those are the hardest ones to rebound.
How you doing, folks? It's your host, Charlie Carty, with Full Court Press, and I'm here with Jonathan Young today. And man, today we got a jam-packed show. We're going to be starting with the Bulls and Blackhawks, and then we're going to be going over to the NFL to talk free agency and then draft previews. So hopping right into it, I got a question to the audience. Bulls fans, who does the team need to add at the trade deadline? Find me at Football with the Fellas on X. So last night the Bulls played the Celtics in Boston. They were missing Zach LaVine. He's expecting the birth of his third child, so he's out for this road slate of games. And so they lost 122-100 last night. Kobe White and Pat Williams both had 16 points, leading the Bulls in scoring. And Kristaps Porzingis, I mean, you just heard from the opening clip there, it was really a struggle for Billy Donovan to work around that, because he went 8 for 14 from 3. Just, I mean, a superb shooting night from the big man, and not much you can do when a guy like that's controlling the game. Matas Buzelis in the game last night played 22 minutes, which was his third most in a game on the year so far. And I mean, it's just a question going into this, Jonathan. I have a question. I mean, possibly are the Bulls going from old ideals, with Tom Thibodeau and a lot of the old mindedness of not playing the young guys? Are we moving in a direction to get the young guys involved early?
Well, it definitely seems that way. Development has always been a problem with the Chicago Bulls with young talent, because they haven't had a coach that really wanted to play young guys. Tibbs, he really wanted to run like a 7-man rotation, and Billy Donovan is more of a seasoned veteran coach, someone that you tell him, hey, I need this play to be ran for me to be the most successful player. He isn't the type of developmental head coach. At least that's how it's been so far in his career. But the Bulls are asking him to do different things. They are asking him to play these young guys more, and they should. Jalen Terry's getting more time as well. So is Julian Phillips. So I do see them turning the corner to try to get these guys more time.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks to be like kind of it's the middle of the year right now, you know what I mean? But it's kind of a later in the year where you're starting to get the young guys more PT. And could that be due to injuries, you think? Or do you think it's just guys finding their way in the rotation? And now that we've seen Matas do what he does, now he's, all these guys are cementing a little bit of a role for themselves. So how do you see that going forward?
Well, coming into the NBA, there's always that I have to prove myself to the head coach moment. And it could be your effort on defense. It could be your effort on rebounding. It could be your effort in just being aggressive offensively. TNT, Horton Tucker, is the worst offensive player I have ever seen. And he gets so much playing time because he is aggressive when he tries to score. It don't matter if he bulldozes through 10 players. It don't matter as long as he's being aggressive. And you have to reward being aggressive, which is why he's getting that time. And you have to find what will get you playing time in the NBA. If your team needs you to play defense and you're on a team and they don't have a defensive stopper, you have to become that defensive stopper. Matas Buzelis' defense has grown since he was a rookie, since the beginning of the year till now. He's grown defensively, and I think that helps him get on the court as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you're able to contribute in multiple ways, obviously you're gonna demand time out there, and you're gonna get it. But yeah, Zach LaVine missing the next couple games with the birth of his third child again. And how does the team look differently when Zach's not playing and Zach's not the primary ball handler? How do the roles? Because you know what I mean. He obviously demands a lot of ball dominant and ball attention, and he needs the ball in his hands. How does the team look different when he's not on the floor?
Well, I was hoping that Kobe White could step up to that position without Zach. But Kobe is coming off of an injury and not making no excuses, because last night was it could have been his coming out game. You just beat Denver. And that was a big game for them to beat Denver. And now you're playing Boston without your number one scorer. So if Kobe had stepped his game up a little bit in that last game, and they get that win, now you've beaten Denver and Boston, the last two finals championships, in back-to-back games. Instead of that happening, you've lost now three of four, or 4 or 5 to Boston. I'm sorry. So just him getting the opportunity and not being able to capitalize on it was a little bit of letdown. We could have used Zach LaVine's 20 whatever points last night as we lost to Boston 100-22. But it was an opportunity for the younger guys to play. Phillips played. Dalen Terry hit a couple threes late, so without Zach LaVine playing these games, it's next man up. Somebody has to contribute.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like the veteran leadership that those guys offer, like, because I mean, you had Torrey Craig out also last night, so Torrey Craig and Zach LaVine both offer a lot of veteran leadership. I mean, how do you replace that, and how do you replace the winning culture? Because those guys have won, they've been on teams, they've been doing this for a while, and guys like that really add to the team and make or break the team, honestly, the vets. So how do you kind of replicate that when it's not out there?
Yeah, you're right. And perfect example was last night. There was a few plays, or a few times where you would have liked to seen the Bulls attack the lane. Their free throw percentage was terrible last night. As a team, the Bulls shot 30%, 15 for 49, which is terrible, way underneath their average. So as a veteran like Zach, if he was there, maybe he would have attacked the rim a little bit more. Kobe and Ayo did start to attack, but it was in like the third quarter. They had already fell behind in the second. They should have been doing that in the second. And if they had, maybe they wouldn't have fell so far behind. So just having a feel for the game and things like that. I mean, Javon Carter, he was still there last year or yesterday, but he only had 4 minutes, and those 4 minutes came in dead time. Like, it didn't matter. Ayo Dosunmu, he had 32 minutes. Dalen Terry only had 13, but I would have loved if Lonzo Ball had more than 23 minutes. You're talking about veterans and how you replace that. Excuse me. Well, you have a veteran in Lonzo Ball who could have played more than 23 minutes. I mean, I'm not saying 23 minutes is bad, but to have Lonzo, and I do believe he started. So did Vooch, and both of them. Vooch only had 25 minutes. Patrick Williams played the majority of the game with 30. He had more than Vooch and Lonzo, but Patrick Williams did do good. He's not a veteran. I still consider him a rookie because he's not performing up to where his experience says he should be.
Yeah.
So I still consider him a rookie, but he knows the game. But he's not going to be that vocal point like a Zach LaVine. Hey, you got to drive the basketball, get in the paint, get these fouls called so we can stop this run. And that's what they were missing. So,
I mean, do you think guys like that are always like that? Like, do you think Zach LaVine at UCLA and early Minnesota Timberwolves days has the same mentality he has now? Like, do you think Patrick Williams could ever become that killer with the instinct? You know what I mean? It just sounds so weird even saying it, but
no, I really don't. I feel like either you have it or you don't. And he, in summer league games and rec games where the camera's off, he goes out there and he's pulling up jumpers in people's eye, like just unconscious, no care at all. But when he's in the NBA and the lights are on, he's scared to miss a shot, it seems. And then you got a young guy like Mateus Buzelis, who's a rookie, and he'll come out there and he'll shoot the ball. If you gave the ball to Mateus Buzelis and he had a good shot, he felt like it was the right basketball play, he's going to shoot it.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if it's a miss. He doesn't care if it's an air ball. He doesn't care if he get blocked. He's going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, you just have to be like ready and willing, because the opportunities are not going to always be there, but you have to be always ready. You know what I mean? To take that shot and put it in. But yeah, I mean, just as far as the losing the vets go, I mean, you have to, the guys who are non-vets, like you said, who don't have the super experience, but also are just 4 or 5 year players, like you have to step up as well. But yeah, going from one team in Chicago coming off a loss to another one who dominated Tuesday, we'll be talking Blackhawks here on Full Court Press.
This is your home for sports. SportsTownChicago.com.
Joe's Hot Dogs has been around since 1953, but I promise it's not old news. You don't have to like hot dogs to like Joe's on Plainfield Road in Joliet. Italian beef, hot dogs, shakes, and sides. My family's had a relationship with Joe's Hot Dogs for 3 generations. Golden fries with a tad bit of salt and the perfect amount of crunch come in a bag as big as your hand. And that's just small. For more on the menu, visit joeshotdogsjoliet.com, bringing that classic Chicago flavor to the suburbs. That's Joe's Hot Dogs across from CVS on Plainfield Road in Joliet.
At the football game, Jim shows the telltale signs of being wasted. He starts flexing for the camera. He refers to his muscles as gunboats. He screams, "How's this for a halftime show?" Jim streaks the field.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many to drive. But what if you've had just one too many to drive? Never underestimate just a few. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and Windy City News Radio.
The Illinois Center for Broadcasting is now the Illinois Media School. We've been an institution in the Chicagoland area now for 30 years. Because the broadcasting world is always changing, so are we. Not only are we teaching radio and television production, but now you can learn all aspects of the media industry, like web design. You can even specialize in TV or film, sports broadcasting, and even sales. No matter where you are in the Chicagoland area, we have a campus near you. The Illinois Media School. Be on TV, be on radio, beonair.com.
Maybe that was money. Tell me that wasn't money.
Yo, check us out. We are the go-to guys. I'm your boy Space.
I'm your boy MC.
Check us out every Thursday
from 4 to 5 p.m.
We spitting all facts, all sports, all day.
Yes, sir. Who else you gonna go to in the clutch?
Lillard, long-range three, and it's good!
Keeping you up to date with all the latest sports news.
We are
the go-to guys.
Where else you gonna get all your sports news from?
You know,
SportsTownChicago.com.
St. Patrick's Day, the only day of the year that it's okay to not boo the Boston Celtics.
I will show you mercy.
SportsTownChicago.com.
Cirelli, Rick Wide onto the stick there of Radish. Radish sends that one back in. Letting try to get to work. Here's another empty net attempt, and finally they're going to hit it, and that is going to do it. The Chicago Blackhawks are going to win here tonight.
Their goaltender has bolstered them big time. Execute along the wall, get some bounces, keep it alive. And there's Teravainen with the long flipper. Finds the 4x6.
4 goals tonight. Rare road win for the Chicago Blackhawks. Second year in a row they've left here with 2 points. And the Lightning will lose their 4th game in the last 5 as this homestand starts on a losing note.
Welcome back, folks. It's your host, Charlie Carty, here on Full Court Press. And right away, I want to get a question out to the audience. How good or how has Connor Bedard progressed so far, and what do you think his ceiling is? Find me on X at FWT or Football with the Fellas. So Tuesday night, Blackhawks crushed the Lightning in Tampa Bay 4-1. You had goals put in by Bedard, Slaggert, Doneto, and Teravainen. But yeah, I mean, you just saw a complete dominance from the Hawks there, and just in a game that they really weren't supposed to win. They had only beat the team twice in the last 16 meetings, and this was the second time, was last night. The Lightning were out. What was his name? Nikita Kucherov was hurt, so they were losing a big defenseman, but obviously it was a big loss to them, and the Hawks were able to rally around Bedard. So I'm just gonna ask you, John, can this team continue to rally around Bedard and win games that they probably shouldn't?
It's going to be hard, man, because I feel like Connor Bedard has been mishandled. The Blackhawks, you can't. It's hard to have a superstar be a superstar with nobody around him, and if your superstar is getting bullied, or your superstar is taking all the attention, you have to have somebody to compliment him. And the Blackhawks just don't. This Connor Bedard is a stud, and he's proving not only can he score, but he can pass. He has vision. That was one of the things people knocked on him, was they said that he might not be a good passer. But this year he has more assists than goals. And in that game, man, yesterday, man, he had one of the nastiest goals, man. Hey, I got the call, man. Listen to this goal that he had against last night.
They've been out there for a while now. Connor Bedard over on the outside, scores! What a shot by the kid! Far down, ties the game.
The unexpected brilliance of this shot is just more than Johansson can deal with here. But I got to see this one again. Bottom of the circle. Yeah, he just catches it. Looks like it must have gone over the shoulder, short side. He's been measuring everybody, the entire shift. He's down. Yeah, oh my goodness, yeah.
Look at
that thing is about 3 times larger than the opening's about 3 times larger than the puck, maybe.
If that.
Yeah. But he doesn't have his head next to the post. That's the thing about the intelligence of that shot.
Like, there was no room. He set the goalie up, and when the goalie went to the left to block him, there was no, because of the angle he was on, he shouldn't have been able to score. And that's what the goalie was trying to do, was take away the angle he had to score. So I mean, like, getting him help should be their number one priority. And they're trying to. And there's a couple different ways you can go about helping him. You can get him young guys like Bertuzzi and even that Slager guy. It's his first game in the NHL since being called up, and he's out there scoring. So you can get young players, but I really want to see them add a free agent, a proven defensive man and offensive talent, so that it gives them a sense of respect, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you just need to build around the guy. Obviously, he's got all the talent, and he will get so much better. You know what I mean? There's just, I mean, what is his cap like? Do you think this is resulting in championships for the Blackhawks eventually? Or, I mean, and how do we get to that point? Or how do the Blackhawks get to that point? Because obviously it'd be a hard road. They've done it before, but you had 2 guys. So you just need to find the pairing. Hopefully it's in the draft this year.
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't even 2. They had Hossa, they had Kane, they had Taves, like Murphy, like they had depth, and that's what you need. You need quality big league players. Not just right now, they're just young guys. You know, they don't have the mixture of that veteran stud. Who's their best player on their team?
Connor Bedard.
Who's their second best player?
Sidney Jones.
Sidney Jones? Okay, how many years Sidney Jones played in the league? Is he a vet?
Yeah.
He is, okay. So he's a defensive man?
Mm-hmm.
So they got that veteran defense. Okay, so they got their defensive man. But and so when Connor Bedard gets hit now, when he gets his jaw broken, that Seth Jones, he better step up,
We saw yesterday, Bedard got pushed up, or Tuesday, he got like smacked up to the boards, and Teravin came in and was throwing punches or something.
That's what I want. That's what I want. Like, just so that the other NHL players know, hey, we can't just go in there and bully him, because if we do, there's going to be consequences to those actions.
Yeah.
You know, and if they don't have that proven offensive weapon with, you need someone to install fear in the goalie. Connor Bedard does that, but that's it. Just Connor Bedard. You need that other guy, that 50-point scorer, 60-point scorer, that installs that fear. And then maybe Bertuzzi could be that third guy, because now you have two guys that's taking attention off of him. Those young guys can get their opportunities, but you have to have somebody to, help.
You would prefer like a vet or something, that someone who's done it and someone who's been in the situations and stuff.
Yeah, I would. Not. Okay. When I say a vet, I mean someone who knows the game, not someone who's only been in the league 2-3 years. I want somebody that has at least 4 or 5 years of experience, because I'm teaming them up with Connor. So I don't want him to be 30 years old, 32 years old. That's not what I'm saying. But I want them to grow and teach Connor. I want them to show him, hey, Connor, when you after the game, you icing, you need to ice like this. You need to ice your legs. You need to, you know what I mean? Things that they don't necessarily teach you, that vets have learned to help you be better the next day. Just small stuff like that. But if you don't have that teaching, he can't do it by himself. He won't learn these things by himself. He'll see someone else do it, and then he'll do it.
Yeah.
So just having even that extra voice in the locker room where they know the routine. Okay, well, we're going to play Tampa Bay. In Tampa Bay, they got all this stuff that you can do there. We got to stay away from this. We can go to that. You know what I mean? It's okay to do this. You don't want to do that, because they've been there. They've done it. You know what I mean? Like, they traveled to Tampa Bay 3-4 times.
Yeah.
They know the good spots to go hang out. They know the bad spots to not go hang out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just that veteran leadership is what I believe the Blackhawks is missing.
So you mean like a lot of like off the ice, even like that locker room, just the voice. They need a someone to look to, you know what I mean? Because right now it is Bedard, and he's 20 years old. And I mean, there's just not, obviously there's a lack of experience there, obviously, but not a lack of skill or talent. But however, the Hawks currently are bottom 5 in goals scored across the league, and have yet to score, like, get their first 20 goal scorer on the year. And it raises the question of even if they will. But Tyler Bertuzzi is close with 17. How soon do you think it'll happen? When do you think they'll get their first 20 goal scorer?
Could be the next game. I mean, but it's unlikely, him and Connor, and they had another gentleman with them on the new line, and that new line had been doing very well. I think it was Nadar. But that new line was doing really well for him. Because of that, I feel like this is their Frank Nadar. This is their reward, you could say. I haven't beat somebody 4-1 all year. They're goalie, he is a stud too. And that's something that they need.
Maybe a little future preview.
Arvid Stoddard. He's a stud. He blocked like 40 blocks, 40 shots last night, and only letting the one go through.
Shut down.
Yeah, I really like him as their goalie. I mean, Belfour will always be the best goalie in Chicago history, in my opinion. But then, like, he is good, and again, He's young too. He's only 25. He's only 25. His goal it goes against is 2.88, and that is 36th in the league. But I mean, he is definitely serviceable. He takes a lot of shots against them because the Blackhawks don't have that defense situated quite yet. But I really like what they have in the. I like the defense that they make. They do more pieces, few vets to teach them, a leader to teach them. Like Connor Bedard is their he's 20s, like in the low 20s. Is he 20?
I think he's like 20 years old.
Like,
he's like a couple months older than me.
Yeah, like he can't be your leader. He can lead. He can be one of your team's leaders because he's that good. He's leading by example. But
it's like
vocally, come
leader.
on, man. Like he this is third time going to Tampa Bay, fourth time in Tampa Bay. He don't know. Yeah. If somebody comes to him and they say, man, you want to allow us to say, yeah, man, let's go get into doesn't know.
Yeah, he's not the one. All right, we're going here.
Exactly, but they come to him because he's the leader.
Yeah.
They need someone else to say, I'm the guy. And it's not to overshadow Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard is a stud, but it's to give him a wingman. Yeah. Michael Jordan didn't win no championships without Pip.
Gotta have the guys around them who can take the pressure off them so that they can play to their best abilities.
If there was no Kane and Taze together, they probably wouldn't have won all those rings that they did.
Yeah,
those cups that they did.
Yeah.
They had to be together. The years where Taze was hurt, those were from the dreary Blackhawk years where it was just Patrick Kane. But when those two were healthy together, man, look out. And that's definitely what the Blackhawks need. Is they need that.
Yeah. Still in season to another that's just wrapping up. When we come back, we'll be talking NFL free agents here on Full Court Press.
Back to your home for sports. SportsTownChicago.com. Scoreboard update.
At 12:54, I'm Charlie Cartzi with your SportsTownChicago.com update powered by the Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to beonair.com. Bears find their defensive coordinator as Dennis Allen was announced Tuesday. He spoke today to reporters. He is the former head coach of the Saints and Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders are re-signing Patrick Graham to be their defensive coordinator. Graham has been with the franchise since 2022. Bulls lose in Boston last night, 122-100. Kristaps Porzingis led in scoring, dropping 34 and going 8 for 14 from deep. No Zach LaVine for the Bulls as he awaits the arrival of his third child. Victor Wembanyama has had enough. He said yesterday the refs' lack of calls feels unfair. The San Antonio Star was shoved to the ground by Ivica Zubac during a 128-116 victory over the Clippers. Blackhawks crushed the Lightning Tuesday 4-1. Goals were put in by Bedard, Donato, Slaggert, and Teravainen. It was only the second time the Blackhawks beat the Lightning since 2021. This has been your SportsTownChicago.com update, brought to you by the Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to beonair.com.
SportsTownChicago.com.
Take that exit and get to the Southern Cafe, home of the Nasty Biscuit on Roselle Road in Roselle. Get over there and try the chicken fried chicken biscuit made with the Southern Cafe's house-made drop biscuit with buttermilk chicken fried chicken smothered in country gravy, topped with shredded cheddar and crumbled hickory smoked bacon. I always say that when you go to the Southern Cafe, you come out with 2 meals with the heaping amounts of food they serve you in every meal. I love to go to a place with outdoor seating. The Southern Cafe has a great outdoor seating area to help social distance, and I get to enjoy my breakfast outdoors. Open 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. to give you plenty of time to grab an amazing breakfast or lunch. Now get your butt over to the Southern Cafe on Roselle Road.
Hello?
It's speed walking day.
Dorothy? You're breaking up.
Did I mention we'd be slowing down when we pass the court where those fine brothers play ball?
I heard that.
Reduce your risk of cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. Get active, eat right, and maybe even run into Mr. Right. Isn't sisterhood beautiful? For more information, go to everydaychoices.org. Brought to you by the American Cancer Society, the American Diabetes Association, the American Heart Association, the Ad Council, and this station.
Alert! Alert! Be gone, maxed out credit cards, overdue loans, suffocating interest rates, and relentless collection agencies. If your credit rating is making you and others around you cringe, there's only one thing to do, and that's to turn to the professionals at Creative Credit Solutions. Even if your credit is less than perfect, we'll help you get back on track. You can do it, and we can help. Call today or visit creativecreditsolutions.net for your free credit check report.
Blow the whistle on SportsTownChicago.com. Mondays and Fridays from 2 to 3 p.m. as we talk NFL.
The game plan was really sound.
The quarterback league. It has been, it still is.
Franchise-defining quarterbacks.
College football.
Will Jim Harbaugh make it through the season as Michigan's head coach?
Some more Big Ten talk.
And here's some things you wouldn't expect.
I would have never expected that.
Get all of that and more on Blow the Whistle on SportsTownChicago.com.
Welcome to the 100th season of the National Football League. Tonight is not about the league. It's about football. It's about the players, the fans, the moments, and everything else that makes you say,
Oh boy.
No can do, cowboy.
This is a big party.
Get out there, old man.
Obese.
We're back. How you doing, folks? It's your host, Charlie Carty, here on Full Court Press, and I'm with Jonathan Young. And right away, I want to get another question out. As far as NFL free agency, who is your dream candidate for your team to add? Go ahead and send me your answer at FWT Fellas on X or Football with the Fellas. So let's just dive right into it. I mean, Jonathan, who's your dream team, your dream candidate to add?
Well, there's only one boy I want on this team, and that's Trey Smith. I want that big guard from Kansas City to come on down. He's 26, man. It would sure up that interior line. So he's my dream pick. If I had one free agent this year, it would be definitely.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, he's a great name and probably the name this offseason. A couple other guys on the offensive line who are going to be free agents. You got Drew Dahlman from the Falcons and Will Fries from the Colts. So you got a couple interior guys there, center and guard, respectively. You got Cam Robinson, who's going to be coming from the Vikings. He plays tackle, though. Was drafted by the Jaguars, kind of fizzled out there. And then obviously you have Trey Smith and Ronnie Stanley, who are probably the two blue chip offensive linemen that will be available to add, the two ones that you would want, that everyone wants. As far as quarterbacks, kind of a weaker class this year. than most. You got it's headlined by Sam Darnold and Justin Fields. Those I think are probably the only two starting guys who can go in and start for you game in, game out, and even there's still question marks with those guys. You know what I mean? So definitely the draft will be big on quarterbacks this year, like it always is. But as far as weapons outside on offense, you got T. Higgins, who's going to be coming over from the Bengals. Chris Godwin's going to be a free agent from the Bucks. Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, Stephon Diggs, Aaron Jones. So you have a lot of veteran playmakers too that are going to be available this year. If you could add a receiver, who would you add off that list, Jonathan?
A receiver, I'd probably say Hopkins, because the Bears really don't have a big body receiver. I mean, they got Rome. They got Rome, who's a big body receiver, but I want if I added, I would want to add a veteran, somebody who's around Keenan Allen's age, somebody who
Stephon Diggs.
Well, I feel like you're gonna have to overpay for Stephon, and if you're paying him to be a number 2 or a number 3 receiver, he should get number 2 or 3 receiver stats. And my problem is that if he came to the Bears, I don't believe he would get number 2 or 3 receiver stats, because he's going to be the number 2 or 3rd option on the team. If he was the one or two, but with all the pass options that they have, it'd be really hard to get the full value of paying him. He should go somewhere where he could be a number 1 or a true number 2, where they don't have a good tight end. They don't have 2 wide receivers that they have to throw the ball to with you to get his maximum value. That's why I said DeAndre Hopkins, because you're not going to have to pay him as much as a Stephon, as a Stephon. You don't have to pay him as much as you have to a Hopkins, because Hopkins is a little bit earlier and Diggs is so much younger.
Yeah, so on the quarterback side, I mean, for as far as like for Justin Fields, Sam Darnold, what do you think are the best spots for those ideal scenario to see where those guys end up?
Well, I like the Raiders as a potential landing spot for one of those guys, because the Raiders do need a quarterback. So do the Giants as well. But if you put, say, Sam Darnold on the Raiders, he probably won't have as good as a year as he did with Miami, but I feel like he would be serviceable. He's somebody I can throw for, 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 8 or 9 interceptions. He won't be a Pro Bowl or an All-Star, or but he'll be good enough. He'll be good enough. He won't be an All-Pro or a Pro Bowler, but he'll still be serviceable. And that's really all you can ask from those two. I like Justin. I wish he had gotten a fair shake in Chicago, but Justin, he needs to go to a team. He can't go to the Giants. He needs to go somewhere where it's a little bit more established. Maybe it has a better offensive line. Great coaching is what Justin Fields needs, because he didn't get it in Chicago. So he's a little bit behind. He did get some coaching last year with Pittsburgh, so maybe just a couple more years with a good coach, and who knows what's in store for Justin.
Yeah. I mean, moving over to the defensive side of the ball for some available free agents this offseason. Up front in your trenches, you got Khalil Mack, Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, Malcolm Kuntz. So those are a lot of the edge rusher and interior D linemen. For linebackers, you got Dre Greenlaw, who's just, I mean, obviously had that horrific injury in the Super Bowl where he tore his Achilles like coming off the sideline. And it was just a horrible loss there, but I definitely think he'll be moving on to a new team this year. San Francisco just has so much money tied up in so many veterans. Debo Samuel's got a super big contract. Ayuk just got re-upped. CMC's got a huge contract. George Kittle, obviously, they're going to have to pay Purdy. So I think Frisco's obviously going to have to cut some losses, you know what I mean, lose some players. I think Dre Greenlaw is going to be an awesome free agent and an awesome ad for whoever gets him this offseason. He's never played without Fred Warner. And obviously they've had some crazy tandem, but it'll be interesting to see where he goes and if he's the linebacker one. And as far as secondary players, you got DJ Reed, Javon Holland, Charvarius Ward, and you got Rasul Douglas and also Carlton Davis. So a couple of guys that I know the Bears have seen a lot of, Rasul Douglas and Carlton Davis there. But you got a lot of younger corners there and a young safety. Javon Holland is probably the premier secondary player you could add. And yeah, I mean, what do you value more in a free agent, John? Age and experience, or a younger, less proven player that you could get on a cheaper deal and you could kind of mold into your own player? You know what I mean?
I really feel like it depends on what your roster looks like. You want to have a balanced roster. You don't want all young rushers and you don't want all old rushers. You want an even mix. So for this particular team with the Bears, they have Montez Sweat, they have Jervon Dexter, they have Andrew Billings coming back, and that's a nice little start. I would want to be a little bit younger with my next pick. Andrew Billings is up there; he's like 28, 29, and Montez Sweat as well. So I would want a younger guy. You know, give me a rookie. Draft a rookie, but also I would sign, 26, 27. I really like Milton Williams. I really like Milton Williams. He's underrated, 26 years old. He plays inside. Team him up with Jervon Dexter. Billings, because Billings can even play outside too. Billings has played the edge with that team. And you draft a young defensive end. Maybe go after Sweat. And now that defensive line where you were questioning how good they are is one of your strengths.
Yeah, I think Milton Williams could for sure be a gem just because he's been sitting in Philadelphia behind Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. And those guys obviously have so much talent, but he's obviously a great player too, Milton Williams, and he's never been that go-to guy on the D line. And I would love to see him in that role, you know what I mean? Like where he's the go-to guy. Same with Malcolm Kuntz. I mean, just a guy on the Raiders who's kind of been under the radar for the past couple of years. Last year had a way more productive season than we were used to seeing from him, and just has progressively got better. That's the thing with the edge rushers, like, so it's so scheme based and so like fit based, and really just, I mean, go into another question. So you're a Bears fan, right?
I am.
Give me a more low-key player you would love for the Bears to add. Because obviously everyone wants the top dogs. But give me a guy kind of more down the board, because obviously you can't add all the top guys.
All right. This might have a few Bears fans upset, but I am totally on board with bringing James Daniels back. He's a 27-year-old guard, and the only reason he left the Bears was because they felt like the system that they were running wasn't cohesive to what the type of player he was. But ever since they released him in Pittsburgh, he's been one of the best guards in the league. So they might have to pay a little bit for him. He is coming off a torn Achilles from week 4. So you might even be able to get him on a cheap deal because of that torn Achilles. James, he shouldn't cost him that much. He if he's willing to come back and play for the organization, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, when you're adding free agents, you just can't you can't put all your eggs in one basket like these older guys and stuff. A lot of the free agents this year are older. Give me a name though in the secondary you want them to add, like the Bears, or really just who do you think is the best secondary option this year?
Well, I would like to see them add another corner. Not because I don't like Stevenson. I do like Tyreek Stevenson, but I'm scared, man. And I feel like this new Allen, he's not going to tolerate this BS from him. So just getting a little bit more depth. I like Asante Samuel because he's a little bit older. You might get him on a cheap deal. He's not a big tackler, but coverage-wise, he's still got what it takes to be a shutdown corner. And if you could have him and drop and there's injuries all the time in the secondary. I mean, Gordon has missed so much time. And so is Tyreek. So adding a Samuels, it gives them that insurance and competition. Hey, Tyreek, you want to stay here? You want to get paid? You got to step your game up to this level. If not, you're going to sit on the bench and Samuel's going to start. You know, Gordon, you're not playing. You want to be a little baby and sit out this week because you didn't broke a nail. Okay, sit out. But now you got to watch Samuel. And what if he does good this week? Now your job's taken.
And I mean, it's in his name, Asante Samuel. I mean, you know he's a shutdown corner, and you know he's going to be great. He's just been holding it down in L.A. over there. A lot of help from Christian Fulton and the Titans, but yeah, I mean, a lot of free agency news and a lot of things will be coming out soon. We just discussed one way to add players in the NFL. The most common way, however, the NFL draft. When we come back, we'll be previewing the draft here on Full Court Press.
This is your home for sports.
Longtime fan, sports is like life.
SportsTownChicago.com.
What's up, Chicago? If you're ever, and I mean ever, out looking for good urban food 24/7, come down to White Palace Grill, located 1159 South Canal Street in Chicago. White Palace Grill is open 365 days a year since 1939. I personally love the steak and egg dinner, but whether you like burgers for breakfast, steak for lunch, or French toast for dinner, White Palace is the place for you. The diner is a 24-hour urban oasis. Come now, come later. Hey, come now and later. We never close at White Palace Grill, located 1159 South Canal Street in Chicago. Visit us at whitepalace.com or order with Uber Eats or Grubhub anytime, any day.
Daddy, when you look at me, I could see your wheels turning. About what am I going to be when I grow up? A major league first baseman? Maybe a point guard for a national champion.
The odds of a child becoming a professional athlete are 1 in 16,000. Far-fetched? Maybe. But did you know the odds of a child being diagnosed with autism are 1 in 166? That's right, 1 in 166. To learn the signs of autism, go to autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Go to Lux Barbershop for the best barbers and stylists in Plainfield, Illinois. I go there when I have an important event, date, or I just want to look good. The straight razor shave will have you looking fresh and smooth. Lux Barbershop is open 7 days a week. Go to Lux Barbershop for the finest barbers, stylists, braiders, and massage therapists in the southern suburbs. Check out all their daily deals on Facebook, Instagram, and luxbarbershop.com.
Hi, this is Joe Perry and Steven Tyler of Aerosmith for Red. You know, it's okay to rock and roll and party down. Just don't get in that 2,000-pound bullet when you're done and cocked. And please don't drink and drive. I'm the one that jaded you.
A reminder that friends don't let friends drive drunk. A public service message brought to you by the Ad Council, U.S. Department of Transportation, National Association of Broadcasters, and RAD.
The Chicago Dogs are back on SportsTownChicago.com. Tune in to the season opener against the Sioux City Explorers, Friday, May 28th at Impact Field in Rosemont. First pitch at 7:05 p.m. Hear all the action right here on SportsTownChicago.com.
Offensive line is certainly an area that we need to get better play from going forward. Something that Ryan and I have already talked about. We will develop a plan of attack for how to get that done. But I'm looking forward to getting an excellent offensive line coach into the building to help develop the young talent that we already have on the roster. And we will certainly talk about acquiring talent to bolster that unit as well. But I was certainly blessed the last few years with the men that I worked with. And that was something I would love to replicate here as well.
Welcome back, folks. It's your host, Charlie Carty, here on Full Court Press. Right away, I want to get another question out. Bear fans, who do you address, or Bear fans, where do you address first in the draft this year? Go ahead and find me on X at FWTFellas. So let's just dive into it. I mean, who do you add, or what position group do you address first, Jonathan?
I would say offensive line, but it really depends on what you do in free agency. If you're able to get Smith and you're able to get a center or another guard, Stanley, you can go defense and you can take that best defensive end. But if you're not able to get a couple of offensive linemen, I'd take the best tackle.
Yeah.
I like Braxton Jones, and Darnell Wright is a stud. He's definitely not going anywhere. But in my opinion, you can upgrade Braxton. And if Braxton is a swing tackle, your offensive line on the bookends should be very solid.
Yeah. I mean, I got a couple names here that are the top draft prospects at O-line. You got Will Campbell, who's from LSU, played tackle, could also play guard in the NFL. Josh Simmons, who played tackle at Ohio State, probably will stay at tackle in the league. And then Tyler Booker, who's a guard from Alabama. So there's a couple. There's one for each position there. You get a tackle, a guard, another tackle, really. So just as far as the O-line goes, I mean, when you add young guys, you want to have old guys in there too. Not old guys, but veterans, because it's a unit. The O-line works as a unit, and the D-line works as a unit, I would say, more than any other position groups. Like those positions are so tight-knit, and they're so reliant on each other. So that's why it's kind of scary always drafting a really high like guard or a tackle, you know what I mean? And that's why you see it fail a lot of the times. A lot of the times you see a high reach draft pick, and it feels like it's hard to play in a cohesive unit together, bringing in no experience, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As far as a couple other positions for offense, for quarterbacks, you got Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, obviously. For the blue chippers, over at receiver, you got Travis Hunter. I mean, it really depends on what he will want to play. We'll find out during the draft interviews and all that, because tell you right now, he could play whatever he wants.
Yeah, I'd let him play. Hey, you can line up wherever you want, young man. That dude is a
he'll be on offense or defense. Yeah. Honestly, whatever works with the team the best.
Would you let him play both sides?
No.
You wouldn't let you tell him, hey, you got to play only one.
You pick one and maybe get involved on the other. And I think it would be defense full-time. It would be harder to play offense full-time, come in a little bit on defense. You could play defense full-time, come in a little bit on offense. But it'll really be dependent on what he wants to do, I feel like. Another receiver, you got Teteroa McMillan, from Arizona. Luther Burden, and obviously Ashton Genty, and then Tyler Warren at tight end. So there's just the top of this draft is really stacked with blue chipper as far as skill position, and really can't go wrong. I feel like if you have a high pick, and I mean, did the Bears see them really adding a skill position?
No,
with that 10th?
no, they would trade down. It does look like Will Campbell is the highest rated line on here. I don't feel comfortable with him, and they trade down to like 12 or 14. The second best as Josh Simmons at 12th rank in best tackle, or even the third. It's still potential to be a blue chipper.
Yeah.
So if
Definitely.
you come up at 10 and you realize, hey, there's all these really, really good blue chippers left, I have the ability to trade down and still get what I need. They don't need a corner this high. They don't need a safety this high. They don't need a wide receiver this high. So if any of those positions are still available, and there's teams out there that do need that position, come on up, pay your price, and then get your tackle later on. That's how I would address it. Will Campbell is a stud from LSU. He is good, and I would be content with picking him over Braxton Jones and making Braxton Jones my swing. My only problem is that if there is all those blue chippers still available and he's still there at 10, can I trade down? Can I get that extra third or second round pick for trading back so that I can get that center, or I can get that other guard, or I can get that DN, DT. Yeah. They have so many holes that they need to fix. And you can't fix them all in free agency. You just can't. You have to draft for the future. And Poles has done a good job at drafting the best player available, not for the need. But this year, it has to be for the need. So if that's the case and you feel like you can trade back and get what you can with better picks, do that, but make sure you get who you're targeting. Don't overthink yourself, basically.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, new head coach this offseason, so this will be Johnson's first pick. Dennis Allen, who he just hired, influenced the pick at all to go defense.
For him, well, the first pick go on the defensive side. Allen is a very proven defensive coordinator, and they had some press conferences today. He wants to be aggressive defense, and he really can't do that with a front four that doesn't generate pressure. He doesn't like the blitz, but he's aggressive. He does a lot of stunting stuff. Those defenses into Mr. Carter. Hello, Mr. Carter. But he's going to be way gone before the Bears draft. So it would have been nice to get Mr. Carter. But, it is what it is. I'd like to see them shore up that defensive line, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple good edge rushers, actually a lot of them. The top of this draft is stacked with D-line. Abdul Carter, like you said, Mason Graham, who's more of a nose guard, more of a defensive tackle. He is a defensive tackle. He's been at Michigan the past couple of years, won a national championship with them. Then you got James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee, who's just going to be phenomenal. He's so fast off the edge. Mike Green is an underrated name out of Marshall, who just had a clip against Josh Connerly, the Oregon Ducks offensive tackle, who's going to be drafted this year as well, where he just got under the pads and just moved through them. It was like a semi truck through a cardboard box. But
yeah, I like the sound of that. That sounds like some good old Warren
look
Sapp
at
football.
Watch
right
Mike Green. Watch Mike Green. He's going to be. But yeah, I mean, just we had a great show today. Talk Bulls, Hawks, little football at the end. Next week, show will be produced by John. So go ahead and give us a rundown on that.
Next week on Tuesday, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to be playing some games, PTI and pardon the interruption type debate, and we'll keep score, or we'll do our teacher up here. He gave us another game show that he sent us through our emails where you pick a topic and, you it's kind of like PTI, but not the same thing. So it's going to be fun games, the whole 4 topics next show. So it'll be sports related, but we're going to try to bring some fun and energy to the show next week.
Sweet. So we'll be having a good one. Thank you guys for watching tonight. This has been Full Court Press with Charlie Carty and Jonathan Young. Have a good night.